Hello everyone, I'm back with some more Shadowverse news. We are getting a patch on July 30th. That patch will come with some card changes and new pre-built decks and more story mode. When we get news about those pre-built decks, I'll probably make another video. But this is news about the card changes. Before I get into them, I was expecting them to probably do little to nothing, because they usually, right before a mini expansion, they expect the mini expansion to do changes to the game, changes to the meta, with the introduction of new cards. So usually they tend to do very little bit or next to nothing for changes, but we've actually got quite a few. So we actually have buffs, or a slight change to one card, but buffs to the other cards. Yeah, no nerfs. So let's jump into it. The first change is for Dragon Empress Odahime. Her accelerate went from 1 to 2, so it costs 1 more to accelerate her. But all of Odahime's vanguards are now a 2 play point 2/1 instead of a 1 play point 1/1. This means that the damage she does has doubled. So the Vanguard's attack has gone up by 100%, which is a lot. So she makes 4 Vanguards if your board has no space, like all spaces available for her. So that's 4 damage. Now it's 8 damage, which is a lot more. Clear a lot more stuff. Still has issues against things that punish you for going wide, like Urius and Kel. But now it can clear a lot more stuff. So it's better used as removal now. Definitely much stronger. Next up, we have Tartarus. His accelerate has gone from 2 to 1. His accelerate pretty much just makes a copy of him and destroys it on the board and gives you a 8 cost 3/3 ward that you probably want to use later in the game to resurrect Tartarus. So now you don't have to spend 2 play points to do that. You only spend 1, which is a lot better. A lot easier to fill in your curve. You actually play it on turn 1 if you want, because usually Shadow has nothing to play on turn 1. So that makes that a lot better. And then Crow went from 6 play points to 5 play points and still keeps his stats. So he's a 5 play and 5/5, which is really good stats. And Infernal Crown went from 7 to 6, so you play the Infernal Crown right after, which is really good. So Infernal Crown, even with just the Crow dead, is kind of like Canny of the Dragons. You just get a bunch of 5/5s, which is still good. But at the end of it, if you have a Tartarus dead, you can get your Tartarus back, which is really powerful. So having Crow cost 1 less and also Crown cost 1 less is really good. So I think we could see a resurgence of like Resurrection Shadow. Maybe we play Mordecai, 10 cost Mordecai again. I don't know. We're lacking a bunch of the Burial Rite cards, but it still might be a thing. Even then, just Crow by himself is pretty good. And the last card to see a change is Displacer Bot. I don't consider this a full buff because his stats also go down. So it goes from a 5 play point 4/5 to a 4 play point 3/4. A 4/5 is actually pretty solid for stats, because there's a lot of things that you want to have, like you need to deal with like 1 more attack. But costing 1 less means that you can start chaining your artifacts a lot sooner. So you can start chaining them on turn 5 probably, which is pretty powerful. And I'm kind of interested in that change, because Portalcraft isn't having that as much issues as Shadow and Dragon. Shadow and Dragon are definitely the weakest class of this expansion for rotation. So their changes make sense to me. I don't know about Displacer Bot. I don't think Portal really necessarily needed this change. But I guess they really want to push Artifact as a archetype. So let's see the explanation for these. Current game environment. We've gone over hierarchy match data for late July in rotation in unlimited formats, and I found that no top ranking deck archetype holds an overwhelming win or usage rate. Sure. We've therefore decided not to change any cards for its archetypes. Yeah, that's because it's because there's like a mini rock paper scissors going on with the top decks, where the other decks are kind of left out. So I think they should do is look at the overarching meta and not just individual decks. I see that three or like 3 or 4 decks are just overwhelmingly taking control of the meta. But this is how they decided to do it. However, while looking at the rotation match data, we found that outside the top ranking deck archetypes, the win rates in Subzone class are lacking. Yeah, that's not just their fault. It's also due to that the other decks punish them really hard. Like, if you play Shadow and the opponent has a Urias and you can't kill the Urias right away, you lose the game. It's just too punishing, because like your powerful cards are Cerberus and like Bone Drone and different things that make a bunch of tokens, and you get punished too hard for playing those cards. It puts the opponent out of reach of your storm because they heal. It also puts you in like reach of their storm because it does damage to you. It's a big issue. Also, Kel, if you go wide, Kel will punish you for that. And Shadow is a class that wants to go wide, but it makes respectable like followers, not just a bunch of like 1/1 tokens. Each follower has individual abilities, and you kind of have to pay for them. So you get punished really hard for like losing your board to Kel. We believe that change will further diversify the rotation game environment. Yeah, I can see Portal, Artifact Portal getting up there. I'm not sure about Dragon and Shadow. Also, according to our high ranking match data, players going first in rotation had a win rate of 48.5 compared to 49.2 across all deck archetypes, while unlimited players going first have 5.1. The further you stray from 50%, going first is probably better, because this number's inflated or deflated because the top decks probably have a 50% win rate going first and second versus the weaker decks. Still, the overall number goes down. But there's a lot of decks that really want to go second in certain matchups, like Elena. But I think it's fair to say that this is better than it being a positive 50%. Yeah. Don't go into full details on why each card was buffed individually, but we can just make guesses why they were. Generally, these cards do not see any play currently. We routinely view the match data Shadowverse team. In order to maintain a great game environment, we change card costs and effects and boost number of vials. Yeah, so we're not getting any vials back because none of the cards were necessarily nerfed. So what do I expect to happen? This dragon buff, I don't know how good that's gonna be. Like, yeah, maybe you'll be able to clear more stuff against Elena. Maybe you'll be able to deal, like, it doesn't help against like mech blood, because mech blood is the 1/1s anyways. So having 2 more attack is not gonna help too much. Yeah, um, like it has more incentive to play the card. It's definitely better, but I don't think it really helps in the meta. Tartarus definitely want to consider playing him and Crow because those are very strong buffs. Because Crow individually as a card is really annoying for opponents to remove, especially on 5. Because on 6, if you're like, you have to deal with a lot more threats right away. Because like Elena makes big things really fast, and if you put like a 7/7 on the board, like after evolving Crow, and kill one of their things, it's pretty strong. But you could rapidly fall behind by only playing one card that turn instead of removing more than one thing. But if you get the payoff of Tartarus, even then, Tartarus might not be strong enough to clear Elena boards and might be too slow against Blood. And Portal just like, I mean, not Portal, sorry. Yeah, Portal doesn't really care. Portal does not care about any of these things going on right now. Especially like Odahime and Tartarus and Crow. Lashana Portal doesn't care. They'll just clear everything. It doesn't matter. Tartarus can threaten them because they, unless they get down, sorry, unless they get down Destruction in Black, Tartarus can threaten lethal with like a fairy if you're going first, but that's like best case scenario. If you're going second, you still die to Maisha. If you're going, if opponent plays Destruction in Black and you don't have removal for it, you lose. So I don't think it helps. It's help against Lashana Portal. Against Rune, like the threat of more Vanguards is nice because they're stronger. They're more threatening on the board. So there's that. But you still have the issue of just Rune just taking control of the board. And just putting a bunch of free stuff on there. Obviously these are strong, but I just don't know if they match up to the top decks. I think the top decks should have been adjusted as well. I feel like they're kind of ignoring that issue right now. I'll just give my top 3 cards I would want to change. Obviously Kel, Urius, and Zealot. The Zealot of Truth. I think those 3 cards are a little bit overtuned. Something from Portal might be, but I think Portal's fine. I don't think Portal should be changed right now, because Portal can be targeted pretty easily. Where Urius is just not just a card that has insane value. It's not a card that you can punish. It's just a card that's just really good. Just a really good card. And same with Zealot. Zealot's not a card you can punish. It's just a really good card. With very little downside. Anyways, interesting. I'm excited to play Resurrection Shadow. You're definitely going to see that on my stream. I've been playing a lot of Hades Shadow, a lot of Evolution Shadow. I've been trying to play more Shadow because I find the other decks a little bit boring at the moment. And I just kind of want to do my own thing. Yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.